Friends, this question from Quiz2 September 2025 ST question paper. So consider the predicate. The given predicate is this one, and which of the following options represents the PB? So that is PB. They are asking PB. So B is the major clause. That is the under the condition which the clause B determines the P. So how to find the clause B determines the predicate B? So that is PB equals to, so replace in the predicate, so B equals to true XOR with predicate with B equal to false, because they given B is the major clause and A and C are minor clauses. They don't change. First one, this is second one. So replace. So in the given predicate P is not of A and C or B. So replace B with true. So that is not of A and C or true. Not for true. So this one. So this is OR gate, right? So for OR gate, true true, true false, false true, and false false. For OR gate, one of the inputs is true. So for one of the inputs is true, both the inputs are true, okay, and one of the inputs is true. These two are input combinations. True, the output is true. Irrespective of the other is, don't care. If it is false or true, it doesn't matter. So in OR gate, this is the input 1, this is the input 2. So one of this is input 1, input 2. So one of the input is true, right? One of the input is true. It doesn't matter if it is true or false. So the final output is true only. So for this, the answer is true. For first one, B equals to true. And for the next one, in the predicate, replace B equal to false. So that is negation of A and C with B equal to false, right? So false. So in the OR gate, one of the input is false, only purple color combinations. Other one is, it doesn't matter, it doesn't count. If one of the input is false, that is input 2 is false. So this is input 1, this complete term, negation of A and C, input 1. So one of the input is false, if other is true, it is true. That is same, right? If the one of the input is false, if it is true, this value is same, true, right? If it is A, B, false, true, true, false, right? So the output is, one of the input A is false, the output of the OR gate is true, right? True means B equal to B value, same B value. If this is B, one of the input is false, if A equal to true, right? So the output is true. So true, one of the output is true, the output is true. True means A, right? A. So both are false, the output is false. Output is false. A equal to B equal to false. The output is false. Means in the OR gate, if one of the input is false, the output is other input only. Resultant output is other input, that is not of A and C. This is the second result, this is the first result. So in this equation, PB equals to, first result is true, right? True, XOR operation, XOR or XOR, you can call anyone. XOR operation of Second result is this one. So not of A and C. So there are two rules when x XOR with true and x XOR with false. There are two results you have to remember to solve this type of question. If x XOR with true is negation of x, so other input negation. If x XOR with false is x only, other input. So here, so the consider true XOR with other input, right? Input. So this condition, true XOR with input is negation of x, that is negation of input x. So in the same way, negation of is complete one, negation of A and C. So there is a De Morgan law, negation of any alphabet, for example G, negation of G equals to G only. So negation cancelled. So answer is A and C. A and C. This is the PB, that is the major clause B. The major clause B determines the predicate B. This is the answer, friends. So this is the answer. So we check the options. So A and C. This is correct, right? Option is C. Friends, if you like my videos, please like and subscribe my channel, and thank you for watching.